Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Toon Review for tonight's match review of Newcastle United 4, Nottingham Forest 3, which was quite the incredible game, it has to be said. Newcastle United absolutely brilliant in the first half. Sam's disappeared off camera a second. Brilliant in the first half, and fair to say, not great in the second, but we will get into that as the show goes on, no doubt. Try and get to the bottom of it, try and ask questions as to why we were such a different team in the game. But hey, you know what it is? It's a win at the end of the day. But please do hit that like button if you do enjoy the show. And of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. It is free to do so. Come and be part of this incredible community. And of course, you can support the channel in the usual two ways during the show. First of all, via membership, which is the join button just underneath us. We've got some prizes to give out this week. And of course, super chats are available. That's a $sign under the live comments, and that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. And of course, a massive thank you to Mamaroo Records for sponsoring the channel, based in Whitley Bay, for all your music needs. If you can't get into the shop itself to see Steve, check them out online. It is pinned at the top of the description. Good evening to Lady Sam, and good evening to Stato. I'm expecting an interesting show tonight, people.
Well, good evening to the Magpie Massive out there in Viewerland, since our Billy isn't with us right now. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
It is indeed. Good evening, everyone.
Very interesting. Trevor MacDonald has been a member for 8 months on the channel. He says, good evening, TDR family. Can I get a happy birthday for my daughter, Janie, a.k.a. Sarah Jane? So, Sarah Jane, happy birthday from the Toon Review. Hope you're having a fantastic day.
Happy birthday, Janie.
Now, I mean, I don't know where to start with this, because let's start off with the lineup, shall we? I mean, Sam... He went with Nick Pope, which was a surprise to me. Obviously, there had been rumours that he was going to play Nick Pope. But then after the game, he then said that Nick Pope was in for his distribution. Now, I know people say that, two of the goals came from his quick throws, right? I perfectly accept that. No problem at all. However, he almost gave a goal away from kicking it out. In the what was it? Was it the first half? Crazy kick out. And I find that hard to believe that he was in for his distribution. It's really weird.
His distribution is vomit-inducing. Like we all know this as fans sort of come out and say that. I was sort of scratching my head. Like, I thought it was questionable when I saw the starting 11, and I think one of his kicks, I think, went was it Gibbs White or something? Like, Dubs is far superior in that department. So, like, I can imagine Dubs would be pretty disappointed that he didn't make the starting 11, given the recent form that he's been in.
Yeah. I mean, Alex, this was what Martin Dubravka's wife, I do apologise. He doesn't use wipes, or at least I don't think he does. He may do. Moisturizing wipes, who knows? Anyway, back to the subject. This is what Martin Dubravka's wife posted on Instagram before the game. Nothing in life is fair. Interesting, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, there were some sneaky suspicions that there were ulterior motives for the change. Maybe it was an injury. Maybe there was just an issue. And then the fact that the player's wife has posted that is a bit ominous. It potentially just means he was dropped. It's not 100% confirmed, but you'd imagine he goes home and tells the wife most things. Be surprised if he doesn't. So yeah, a little bit concerning. I don't think Dubravka's done anything to be dropped. I think the goals he conceded against Man City were largely down to other areas. I think Nick Pope demonstrated in conceding the first goal that he's equally as incompetent in certain moments. He's less reliable than he was a couple of years ago, Nick Pope, certainly. I think they've, for some reason, they're both at similar levels now, which is weird, but I think it's fair to say they probably are similar. We're still with different strengths and weaknesses, with Pope being a better sweeper and Dubravka being a better on-the-ball player with his feet. Strange one. Very odd. Don't quite know why he was dropped.
Well, I mean, look, if anyone put him in for his distribution,
Eddie Howe is specifically talking about quick throws and getting us on the break.
yeah, which he did,
to back that up. The club do. They've got their little black box and all of their data. They all wear little funny training bras and they track everything. I'm not privy to that information, so it's very possible that they know exactly the strengths. That maybe that was the right call. That we as fans don't have enough data. All we're thinking about is, well, Dubravka's better with his feet and has been the go-to guy recently. Why is he? That's all we see. So it's hard to really define.
Yeah. It was really strange. And the thing is, Sam, the first goal, Forest's first goal, I know Jacob Murphy made an error, but where on earth was Nick Pope's positioning? I mean, he may as well have been sitting with the fans in the East Stand. I said that on my reaction video last night. I couldn't believe where he was. I mean, he was so far out of position. And it's not like he didn't have time to get in position.
Yeah, wacky inflatable tube, man. Like, goal this way. Like, plenty space, lads. Yeah, awful. Absolutely awful. I can see there's an argument to be made that maybe, was burning his eye line, but positionally just all wrong.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but an international goalkeeper, as Nick Pope is or was, has got to know where his goalposts are.
Still wants to be.
Yeah, he's got to know where his goalposts are, Alex. It was terrible positioning. And let's be fair, he had the whole goal to aim for. He just put it as far away from Nick Pope as he must have looked up and thought, Jesus Christ, where's the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I mean, for people stating that Burn was in the way, I feel like you're being very generous to Nick Pope there. I think that there is an element of that that's valid, but I think it's quite a generous point. I think a lot of that is still on the goalkeeper.
Absolutely. But anyway, we started the game.
Before we continue off that, Jacob Murphy has to take also a large part of the blame for driving into midfield in front of our back four when there is no DM there, which is just a bit naive, and he got told off for that, and he didn't do it again. So
it just seemed to me like Eddie Howe was waiting for an excuse to play Nick Pope. And I think he saw the defeat to Manchester City and thought, "Oh, I'll come up with an excuse or something like that." I just really feel for Martin Dubravka. I do, because I don't think he should have been dropped. I think he's been well worth his place. He's done nothing wrong for me, and I found it weird. But then Sam Tonali's missing, a slight muscle problem, so he's on the bench, which meant that Willock kept his place and Louis Miley came in. And to be fair, Willock had a blistering first half.
Didn't he do well? Yeah. Absolutely. You get this with Willock, though. You sort of have these moments where you're thinking, oh, don't tease me now. Is he back to his best? We've seen this lad have a lot of promise, and then just injury sort of decimated a little bit, but really good pace. Great energy, like finding good areas, like particularly fantastic in the first half, I thought.
Interesting. Alex, we needed to see that from Willock, didn't we? Because we haven't seen that a lot. Certainly this season in the Premier League, we haven't seen him, run like that, really get his confidence going, taking players on, which he's really good at. And yesterday we saw it. And the space of 11 minutes, smashing in the 4 goals, he was a big part of that.
I mean, the stats do back him up. He passed the eye test and he passed the stats test. Aina, their right back, has dropped a 5.2 on SofaScore, which is an absolute clanger. Yeah. Joe Willock, not only did we see him put on the afterburners, his link-up play was fantastic. He got an assist. Passing-wise, he missed 1 pass all game. That was it. Just 1, 24 out of 25. And that included some little back heels and intricate link-up play. So to only miss 1 while you're trying to be flair, like a little bit of flair and build up, is really impressive. That was a snapshot of what he was like for me when we were pushing for Champions League in that final run when we dismantled Everton, Spurs 6-1, that Brighton home game. That run of form, well, actually it was the Brighton game that he got injured originally. That run of form where he was unplayable, there were snapshots of that. So it's been a long time coming, because we've been sort of saying, look, we really like Joe. He had so much potential, but he's just not been doing it. Hopefully, he's turned a bit of a corner. We're not asking him to be Superman every game, because to that sort of intricate play, you know, him and Isak for that 15-minute period with Gordon and Hall, we put 4 goals in. It would beat anybody when we're in that kind of form. So we don't expect him to do that all the time, but hopefully he's turned a bit of a corner.
Hopefully so. Murphy made up for his mistake with the goal. Yes, he did. But the first goal, Sam, lovely goal. Made Lewis Hall plays it to Miley, takes a touch and hits it with his left and curled it away from the keeper as well. It was a fabulous finish.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And you could see the look on his face, how much it meant to him. And, he's been out injured for a while, but getting his first start, fantastic to get a goal with it as well, was brilliant. I just think we are so lucky to have him. He's such a great talent for being so young, Champions League experience. And I think he's just only going to get better. So, yeah, he had a really interesting game.
Alex, he looks a player well above his age, doesn't he? He's just so composed and just brilliant when he's on the ball.
Yeah, well, one thing, I mean, everybody's going to talk about the standard things he does well. We've talked about them to death, but something new I noticed was his aerial presence. It's something that Joe Willock is pants at, Bruno is meh at, but Bruno's pretty small. But Lewis Miley competed for everything in the air, and he beat most of, he was beating the centre halves, he was challenging all of them aerially. He was 4 out of 7 aerial duels, and he was keeping the boy. We were winning more second balls because Miley was able to compete. So that to a degree made up for a little bit of the Joe Linton loss, because we were able to win second balls that we wouldn't have won, I don't think. He was really good physically at competing, which, I mean, is he still 18? I think he is. For his age, to be the standout physical competition of our midfield is kind of a little bit embarrassing for Joe Willock and Bruno, because I think Lewis Miley was better in duels, which, I mean, I would show that to Joe Willock and be like, bro, come on, like you're 25, you're a beast. Why is Lewis Miley, who's 18, out dueling you in every situation? Like, Willock's like 5'11". He's not small. 5'11" is more than adequate for an athlete to be competitive in the air. Yeah. So, really, really good from Lewis Miley. And he got a goal. He tried a little volley as well that nearly came off. It was a really good day for him.
Hey, Paul, just to showcase that you weren't really distracted changing your headphones there, what was, according to Alex, what was Miley's special skill that he's just noticed?
We'll get nothing off the back of that. Don't worry, Sam. I'm used to it.
I had to change my headphones, so it's not my fault. He
won lots in the air, Paul. Did you notice he was good at heading the ball?
Yes. Can I just say, right, as professionalism, I waited to ask Alex a question, then changed my headphones. So,
that's why I rattled on a bit. Give you the time.
No, that was courteous.
No, I'm joking. I just did that anyway because that's what I do.
Honestly, just terrible. Sam calling out Paul, love it. Just for changing my headphones.
We love the bands.
Christ,
keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Anyway, Murphy had the worst 20 minutes I've seen for a long, long time. He apparently, I was watching the Geordie Journals, and the Opta stats that he gave the ball away 8 times in the first 20 minutes of that game. He was horrifically giving the ball away, but then, as Jacob Murphy does, he goes and gets a goal. I mean, yes, it was off his thigh. I was hoping that Lewis Hall would have hit that, Sam, and buried it in the bottom corner. But he unfortunately he decided to cross it, and it took a deflection.
Yeah, not sure why I didn't have a shot, but hey, it sort of found the back of the net anyway with Murphy's big thigh. So I'll take that, whatever. But yeah, absolutely shocking in the first half. But this is sort of like reminiscent of like Murphy days of yore, like, back when you would know from Billy would say, like, from his first pass, his first touch, if he's going to have a good game or not. And it was just dross, but he got a goal for us, so happy days.
I thought he did get better as the half went on, though. Certainly the goal gave him a bit more
confidence.
A little confidence back again, because that's the thing with Murphy. If he starts the game badly, he kind of
gets in his head, doesn't he?
That performance broke Billy's theory, because he was much better in parts and helped us win the game. So
yeah. Isak's penalty, Alex, is the strangest penalty I'm going to see ever, I think. He literally thought, oh, Matt Sells is off his line. I'm going to chip him from a penalty. And to be honest, let's be honest here, he was lucky to get away with it because Sells really was furious with himself because he thought he should have got a hand on it. Well, he did get a hand on it, but not enough to keep it out. But it was brave. But had he missed it, we would have been screaming at him thinking, what the hell was that? But it ended up being quality.
Yeah, I mean, my argument for that would be, and I'm clutching at straws here, what he was doing with that little scoop attempt, I do feel like that was going to get scooped straight to Isak anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that that's how I saw it. But yeah, is it lucky? Is it just really good that he thought he could get that goal? It's a fine line, isn't it, between genius and insanity? So he's cheeky enough to get it in that right area where it was difficult.
Alex. I mean, he must be absolutely flown with confidence.
We've seen Isak. Do you remember against Villa where he tried to chip Martinez from
ridiculous stuff,
25 yards out, but near the corner flag? Like, this guy will try and chip you from anywhere. He doesn't care. If he sees you remotely sleeping on your line, he's going to try and chip you. That's what Isak's about. So it is. If we want a player, this was always my argument with Maxi, and it's going to be the same with Isak. If you want a guy that's going to be able to do that sort of flare output, you're going to have to put up with it going wrong sometimes because they are going to try weird stuff. It's just who he is. If we want flair, you're going to have to put up with it.
Ken Robinson says, Paul, did you see the rat on the Geordie Journals could have put a bloody saddle on it? Yeah, I don't know how many people have seen this video, but around about 16 and a half minutes, just over that, because they're doing it just where they're doing their video where the journalists all sit. But you can see right down, it's like a galleyway to the Gallagher end. And just behind them, there's this huge rat appears out of the stands and starts running around for a few seconds and then disappears into the Milburn stand again.
I didn't know Southampton were visiting.
Well, Bruno Fernandes had come to see us.
Well, no, I was more about Ryan Fraser. I don't know why they were there, but
many people said it was that what's his face, the Nottingham Forest player, Yates. Many people thought he was doing a sort of a warm down after the game.
Barrow, wouldn't he? He'd be something like that.
Mate, I mean, please go and see it if you haven't watched it because it's
it.
Absolutely massive. Just this dog-like rat scurrying around behind them for a few seconds, and then it disappeared.
Yeah, Robert D's got the right idea. It was in the wrong postcode. It meant to go to the Stadium of Light. That's why it ran away.
Yeah. Anth Dawson is a new member of the channel. Thank you very much for joining up, Anth. Thank you for your support. And up the A1 with a super chat saying, where was the red card for Anderson hitting Murphy? Well, I'm more interested in the one from, was it Aina down on Gordon? Which started on his knee and went right down to his ankle. And he didn't even get a booking for it. Was it Aina or was it? I'm sure it was Aina, the right back. It might not be, but it was a disgusting tackle and not even a yellow card for that.
So,
and then
bearing in mind, Paul,
gets booked.
So Ola Aina committed 4 fouls, one of which was the one you're describing, and gave the penalty away.
Yeah,
no yellow card at all in that match.
Very early on in the game, one of the Forest players kicked the ball away when Newcastle had a free kick as well, and the referee just left. Crazy. Crazy.
We do that quite a lot, to be fair.
Shush. We get a fourth. Isak with a good finish. It did take a slight deflection, but again, a really good build up to the goal, Sam.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing, I think, when he gets his confidence and he just wants to showcase his talents, and great. I mean, you could see that from the pen. I mean, as you rightly said earlier, had that not gone in, we would have all been furious. But when his confidence is like that, let's just back him and let him do what he wants to do. It was another good goal from him. Happy as Larry with that. It was, if only that could have continued into the second half.
Well, let's get into it, shall we? First of all, though, we are going to do our man of the match poll. I don't know how many players are going to be on this, but there were some good performances.
No, there's enough. There's enough.
Yeah. Ladies, Sam, ladies first. Who are you putting for your man of the match?
Hall. Obviously.
Lewis Hall.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Alex?
I'm always really nervous because I'm worried you're going to pick something stupid.
I beg your pardon? Well, screw you with a bloody blunt hammer.
How rude.
Oh, I'm just nervous
God.
that I'm nervous if I don't pick Isak, you're not going to put him in. I'm going to pick Isak because he's got to be in this vote because he scored like several times. So,
okay. I'm going to put Joe Willock. And to be fair, it's nice to see Joe Willock in there for once.
It is.
It is definitely.
Right, the three of us have got to come up with a fourth now.
Miley.
It's Miley, definitely, isn't it?
Absolutely. So there you go.
There's an outside shout for Gordon, who should be on this list had Callum Wilson done his job
we'll
properly.
come to Callum Wilson shortly, Alex, because I know you're dying to get into that one.
I'm seething. I'm
yes,
livid.
You are. Steak emojis at the ready when Alex starts on his Callum Wilson rant. Believe me. Right, there is your poll for man of the match. Is it Lewis Hall, Alexander Isak, Joe Willock, or Lewis Miley? That poll is now pinned. Get voting, and we will take that at the end of the show to see who the viewers' man of the match is. Right, let's get into the second half, shall we? It started not too bad because we started in the same kind of vein, and then Shea hits the post with a header. But after that hit the post, it's like we just forgot who we were, and we didn't want to play football anymore. The amount of passes that went astray, the mistakes. Dan Burn literally lost his head a few times. We couldn't get the ball off Forest. They kept pressing. And you know what it was? You just knew a second goal was coming for Forest. And if they could get it early enough, it was certainly going to be squeaky bum. And Mikalenkovic went and scored a little back heel flick, didn't he? And at 4-2. But we didn't get going at all second half, Sam. It was like two different teams had come out.
It really was. And it's hard to believe that it was instructional as well. So I'm not actually going to throw Eddie under the bus for this one.
Eddie confirmed in his post-match press conference that he has no idea what happened. That certainly was not his instruction. So that one's put to bed. And that's why I did the video earlier on today, questioning the players' attitudes. Were they too complacent?
Yeah, this is it. And I mean, I think for me, it's difficult because our aging back line is going to cause us problems. It's going to continue to get worse as well. I think Shaw has just not been on it since international break. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's like only occasionally shown his true qualities and worth. And we just don't have the pace at the back line anymore. So we were just playing so deep, and it's hard to play out from the back when we don't have the pace to support it. Like this is going to be a consistent problem for us if we don't continue with the high intense press that we have. That's when we're at our best, but it's like we just didn't have the legs for it or the heart for it, which is more concerning.
Yeah, I agree. Garant says, can we have a shout out for Isak's block with his plums? I said on commentary, Sam, that I do believe that Isak's left testicle was now in his throat. He looked extremely uncomfortable with that, but credit to him for blocking.
See that. Yeah.
But Alex, I mean, it was just incredible, the difference in our side into the second half. We just thought, oh, we're 4-1 up here. This game's won. It was that kind of attitude. And then Forest couldn't believe how much they were allowed to have the ball and how many chances they were getting. I mean, it literally could have been 6-1 at half-time and 6-6 at full-time.
Yeah, I mean, that passage of play, and before anybody has a go at me, I know we won, and there were really positive elements to that game.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
That 10 to 15-minute period was pathetic from everybody in front of the back four. I know I'm having a go at Dan Burn and Fabian Schär recently. For yesterday's performance, it was shocking. However, people need to show for the ball. Nobody was showing for the ball. That was always going to be 15 minutes of fire. It was always going to be that because Forest
would have got a roasting at halftime, wouldn't they?
They would do or die. They were 4-1 down. They had to come out and show up, and they were going to give us absolute hell because they were going to empty their stamina and just be absolute assholes to us. And I felt like nobody stepped up. The captain didn't step up. You've got an 18-year-old fine. Should he have stepped up? I mean, he's 18. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. Possibly. Joe Willock, again, he's 25 now. Well, I'm not hiding behind this. He's a young player. He's 25. He's coming up to his peak. I'm not buying that either. Possibly people further forward, maybe Gordon Murphy. Isak tried to come back and help, but then just lost the ball quite a lot in his duels. He does that anyway. It is what it is with Isak. But there was a 15-minute period. And now I disagree with a lot of people, but people were saying, it was obvious Eddie should have made changes like on an hour before that went in. I would argue he shouldn't have to. The players are capable of playing 90 minutes. They are capable of playing through a bit of a press after an hour of football. If you're not fit enough to play through an hour while you're getting pressed, then you shouldn't be playing anyway, in my opinion. If you're not fit enough. So nobody showed for the ball. We weren't ready to ride that wave. It's something we do miss when Joe Linton's either not in form or not available. And I thought that was pathetic. So we shouldn't have to go, Sandro, please come on and save us with some physicality. We shouldn't have to make that call. Players should step up a little bit. And as people call me out, we could all see the goal coming. Yeah, but that's my problem. The players on the pitch should have been able to respond to that. They're professional footballers with the adequate experience. Changing two in midfield doesn't necessarily stop the flow. I feel like the players should be able to deal with that. They knew what was going to happen.
Of course they did. It
resulted in Dan Burn trying to play out twice and losing the ball.
But where's the
leadership? He's got nothing nowhere to go.
This is my question again regarding the leadership, as what happened at Manchester City. You kind of question where the leaders are to realise what's going on the pitch. Yes, I mean, Eddie Howe will take part of the blame. Of course he will. But the main crux of the problem is those players on the pitch. And Eddie would have been standing there going, what the hell is going on here? These players have given me a fantastic 45 minutes where the football was breathtaking to this. What on earth is going on?
It's all well and good, Bruno.
To do something, Alex.
Well, this is what I mean. It's all well and good, Bruno, screaming into one of the sections of the crowd when we win a throw in, but then not showing for the ball when Dan Burn's in hot water 3 times. I would rather he did his job properly. Yeah. We love when he celebrates with the crowd. I know we all do. But I would much rather he helps his back four get out and relieves that pressure. And he wasn't the only one. It's not all on Bruno. However, he has got the armband on. He's 27. He's a big boy. He's Brazilian. Your mate next to you is 18. Show for the ball. Dan Burn isn't the most technically gifted footballer when we're talking about the top echelons of the Premier League. He had to try and do it himself. So the blame's got to go on Dan Burn because he made the call. He got it wrong. But people need to help him out a little bit. And that was I felt like that was preventable without substitutions, in my opinion.
Sam, we're seeing a lot of comments in the chat regarding Bruno. And he hasn't, to be fair, Bruno hasn't really been at top flight for a few games now. And people are getting sick of him going down, trying to get free kicks all the time and giving the ball away in dangerous situations. I mean, we're having this conversation about Bruno captaincy again. I'm not going to do that. He's captain of the team. We just have to get on with that. He's not going to change the captain, Sam, now, this far into the season. It just doesn't happen. But what's going on there, do you think?
I think it's a really difficult one because we obviously know it's a bit of an olive branch, giving him the armband. We want him to stay, obviously. And at the time, we didn't have, Tonali was under his ban. So we needed to sort of, have a safety net so he wasn't going to be tempted to go off anywhere. I think people are complacent and when it comes to leadership qualities. It's just because you've got quality and skill as an individual, that doesn't mean that you're a born leader for anything. I think it's really been a mistake awarding that to him. And as Alex said, we all love when he G's everybody up in the crowd. It gets all of us going, especially when we're, they're live at the match and everything. Absolutely. But you know what? There's a point where ego comes into this a little bit for me. And if you're putting, a fan reaction because you want to have your moment in the sun over gearing your players up when they're around you in hard times, that makes me question your leadership qualities.
Yeah. If he's doing that to the fans, do it to the players, not the fans. Do it to the players.
Absolutely.
If the player, as a captain, you see that the team needs G'ing up. You yourself needs G'ing up. Get the team going. I mean, Paul Weld makes a good point. It's not the first time, though. So what is it? Fitness, tactics? We don't know about players losing focus.
It's since Wolves. This has been happening since the Wolves game.
Yeah.
We beat Wolves 3-0, but Wolves had so many chances to score, and that scoreline is not a true reflection of the game. And then Bournemouth, it happened against Bournemouth. Southampton, I felt like was more of an anomaly because they were so crap. So that, for me, fine. They had to play who was in front of them, but Southampton are just poor. Fulham turned us over. They beat us again. Arsenal was an anomaly because we played a completely different way with a back five with a different objective. And then we've done it again, Man City. We've done it again against Forest. Even though we've won, we did have that horrible just gaps in midfield. Just crazy.
A lot of people have said that is Pope playing to get his value up for the summer because we're looking to offload him. Spike says, I'm sure the players that came out after half time were lookalikes. Well, listen, you wouldn't have, nobody would have said that was the same team. It was just incredible. But what is it? Is it just too confident? Is it getting cocky 4-1 up? Or we're too good to lose this now?
We need to figure it out.
Yeah, Forest are in a good run of, a bad run of form away from home. But and that was obvious in the first half because they were dreadful, and they were always going to get a rocket up their arse. They're third in the Premier League, so they are a very good side, and nobody's taking that away from Nottingham Forest. They are a good side with some very good players, but their away form has just spluttered a little bit of recent times. But that second half, they obviously got a right hammering in the dressing room. But our players surely have to have the capability, Sam, to respond to that. And just take the sting out of it. But we didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mike Davies has just mentioned there, the C word is missing: consistency. Absolutely. Yeah. I just don't get it. It was like watching a match from a completely different day. It was so strange. I think the problem for me, and we keep going back to this, is attitude. It doesn't seem like tiredness. It is literally focus. They are losing their concentration, whether it be, we're steaming ahead now. I'm not sure that's the case. I feel like it's that they're just losing concentration.
Alex, these players, though, if they want to be Champions League players, they can't lose concentration like this, can they? They just can't. And you look, I mean, obviously we'll talk about Liverpool more in the preview show tomorrow night. But you have to look at games like Liverpool and think what Newcastle United is going to turn up there, because I still worry about our Premier League form, even though we had a blast in 45 minutes yesterday. I mean, 11 minutes if you put the goals into perspective. But our defense just looks all at sea.
Well, it's not just the defense. It's the whole spine of the team goes a bit wobbly and rickety in phases of the game. It's the whole spine, and it's weird. And it's something that we've got to get out of, because it's just what you just said a minute ago. It's all well and good, a lot of these players wanting certain contracts and wanting to win something with us, and other clubs hovering for transfers and all of this. That's all well and good. But if these players want to achieve their goals of qualifying for the Champions League and winning trophies, they do have to show it enough consistently to warrant that, because there's enough, well, arguably there's enough quality when we've got a better 11 on the field that we should be able to challenge for top 5. So if they do want trophies and they do want to qualify, they've got to stamp this out, because at the moment we are joint 5th. We are in the hunt. We're looking okay.
Yeah,
we are into a cup final.
Yep.
But if they want this season to go to go the way they want it to go, I feel like we've definitely got the rub of the green with a 9-win streak. We've ridden a big wave of momentum. But if they want to get over the line, they're going to have to tidy this up, because despite it, we won, guys. We got 3 points. We did win. I know there are people in the chat are frustrated. We're not putting enough emphasis on that. We did win. It's fantastic. But there's still a lot of symptoms that are indicative of a problem that concern me, that we're not going to be able to get Champions League football or win that cup final. There's problems still, and Eddie Howe was aware of that because he's referenced this in the press conference. So it's not just us making stuff up. The manager is also a little bit frustrated that happened. So it has to be spoken about, but we've got to figure out what it is. For me personally, I think we just need Joe Linton, Tonali and Botman back in this side. We need players with a bit more physicality and more quality. Those three back in the starting 11 are night and day different. But it's just hopefully we can get them back sooner rather than later.
Yep. You're crackling a bit again, Alex. I think you need a new wire for the microphone, possibly. I don't know what it is. Anyway, we got a super chat from Nick Thornton. The second half, we came out with the arrogance that we'd already won the game and got embarrassed by Forest as Eddie had no answer. Where was that coming from? 2 seconds. Ab says, how can we slag off Bruno when he easily leads the league in fouls won and is one of the best we've seen at that? Has been great in great form. Everyone was bad in the second half. Abs, we all love Bruno, and you do especially. I know you do, but he hasn't really been added for the last few games. He hasn't been brilliant. But, you know, all we're saying is you expect from your captain when things, it's all right praising when things are going well, but when the tide is against us on the pitch, you look for your captain, you look for that leadership group. I'm not putting it all on Bruno. I'm saying that the whole leadership group needs to stand up and realize what was going on the pitch and do something about it. But
where was Bruno for the first goal? You've got your winger driving backwards down his wing and then trying to drive centrally. What triggered in Bruno's mind to run forward in that moment? Where was he?
Yeah.
He's like, my winger's running backwards. Let me go make a run.
It was. I understand that.
Like, he's not beyond criticism.
No, absolutely not. But you know, it's going to be. They need to get themselves in gear for Wednesday. You know, they need to sort it out because the way Liverpool are right now is frightening. And the pace they have, breaking and coming down the pitch is frightening. But we won the game. That's the main thing. And we are still very much in the hunt, simply because, obviously, we're still in the Cups. We're in a cup final. We're fifth in the Premier League. We have to look at the positives as well. But the positives can disappear very, very quickly if we're not careful. And this crazy complacency that we have at times is just unbelievable. Right, we'll move on to player ratings. Get everybody, please put your ratings in the chat. Let's see if you agree with us. We'll start off with Nick Pope, Sam.
4.
Oh,
I know. Do you know I'm really annoyed about it though? Just again, distribution. We've already talked about it, but that one that went to like Gibbs White was just awful. I really thought that there was maybe an injury that was keeping Dubs out. So really surprising to hear that what Eddie said. So yeah, I'm not buying the sort of that Burn blocked his eye line either. The goal was wide open. No, he's getting a 4 from me.
Alex.
Yeah, I don't think the throws are gonna sway the score too much for me because there was a lot more that needed to happen by the players further up the pitch to go and do things and score goals off the back of the throw. You know, I expect my goalkeeper to throw it out when somebody's making a run. I don't feel like I can overpraise that. I thought he was shocking, personally. I was terrified anytime he had the ball at his feet. I thought the first goal was poor. And I've got to be consistent because we would have absolutely crucified Dubravka for that. And it was shocking from Nick Pope as well. So I'm going to go with a 4 as well. We've conceded 3 goals at home. He's come back in by choice, it seems. And I don't think it was great. So 4.
Okay. I've gone a 4 as well. Listen, I don't care what anybody says about Dan Burns standing in the way of that first goal. He's so far out, right, that he has plenty of time to adjust his position and realize where he is. He just didn't have a clue where he was. And Gibbs White had the whole goal. And I'm with Alex. Every time he gets the ball at his feet and tries to play out, my heart's in my mouth. Fair enough, he might be decent at throwing the ball out, but playing out, dear God, it's frightening. You guys seem to agree, to be honest, because Blue Magpie's given him a 6.5, but I haven't seen more than that in the chat. Some as low as 2 and a 1s and things like that. But we've all gone for 4s. Solo strikes back with a super chat saying, we play dynamic and electric counter-attacking football with brilliant press. We need other modalities of play with possession-based game management.
We need transfers for that to be a thing. Unfortunately, we can't do that with our current personnel available. We need a more technical version of Joe Linton, which we're not going to buy until Joe Linton's over the hill. We need a goalkeeper that can do it. We need Botman to play all the time. Maybe a winger that can contribute more in passing as well. We need a lot more to be able to do that. I don't think we're ready to transition into that team.
Yeah. Right, Livermento, Sam.
Definitely the better pick over Trippier. Really good work rate, I thought. 5.5.
5.5. Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was okay. I think some of the issues were Murphy sometimes being switched on or falling asleep. Didn't really help Livermento having to figure out everything on his own. I think Fabian Schär is just out of position a lot, and Livermento, being the youngest out of all of that side, is having to try and put out a lot of fires. And he's young and he's got to figure out his own stuff, so it's hard for him. I'm going to go with 7.5. I thought it was a pretty good game for him. I'd like to give him a bit higher, but I thought it was solid. 8 clearances. He was really good in the duel. His passing was really tidy. A couple of key passes. I liked that performance. It was better from Tino. I think he just really suffered from Fabian Schär being a bit inept positionally, and Murphy just constantly falling asleep.
I've gone with a 6. I thought he did everything he needed to do. I think he was certainly better than of recent games, without a shadow of a doubt. I still think, Rabbit Nuns just confirmed what I was going to say there. He gets a nosebleed when he goes over the halfway line, and he's nowhere near as composed as to what Trippier is in that area of the pitch. But defensively, I thought he was better yesterday. So a 6.
Did you hear, Paul, by the way, there was one of the microphones in the stadium picked up a fan, I think. Or it was just a fan shouting really loudly. As soon as he got up to speed on a run, somebody shouted, "Go on, Tino," and then he didn't. He just turned around straight away.
Yeah.
It was quite funny.
Yeah. Right, Lewis Hall, Sam.
Hall. 10. Give me a 10. We've got assists. We've got pace, forward play, defensively minded. He's just got football intelligence oozing out of him. He's so fast paced, thinking, cool under pressure. He's getting a 10 from me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Alex?
I think I might join you. I think I'm going to go for 10 as well.
Wow.
I can't remember anything I was super unhappy with coming down that side. Obviously, when Hudson-Odoi swapped over, he had a little bit more joy, but Hall got the assist.
Yeah,
10 out of 14 ground duels. He looked a bit more, considering the pace and physicality he had to deal with. He was night and day different to last week against Man City. It was so much different. Technically outstanding. 3 key passes as well. Completed 3 dribbles. And the fact that he went left wing and Joe Willett went left wing, there was like a 20-minute period where we just overran them. That's why we scored 4 goals. They couldn't handle it. And Lewis Hall was a huge part of that.
He made some goal-saving tackles as well, by the way, in his own penalty area.
He's really, considering his pace, that isn't quite up to scratch with the really fast wingers, which, I mean, it's not expected to be. He made some really good slide tackles to put it out for a corner as well. His timing's really good.
Alex, you know, again, as well
20
as
years old.
You know as well as I do, when a winger runs at a fullback, the winger is going to get 1 or 2. He's going to beat you once or twice. It's just 100%.
It's why for a 20-year-old getting that timing spot on is really impressive.
Lots of 9s and 10s for Lewis Hall coming in the chat. I've gone with a 9. Definitely looking back to the Lewis Hall that we know. He's had a rocky couple of weeks, but yesterday, just outstanding. Great ball into... I'm not sure whether you meant the ball into Miley or not, but it ended up being a fantastic pass. But just the way he drives forward and his defending, was something else yesterday. Two brilliant tackles I can remember in his own penalty area. So nice to see him getting back to some form, and nice to see Alan Shearer coming out today and saying that urging Thomas Tuchel to make sure that Lewis Hall is in that England squad for the games in March. He's got to be. He's bloody got to be. Fabian Schär, Sam.
Marking him down for some poor passing. Did have the shot that hit the post, unfortunately. But I do always like that he does have a goal when he gets the opportunity. But I'm going to have to give him a 5. And I feel like I'm almost being generous with that, because I feel like I can, if you're tired, if you're injured, I totally get that. But I think there's been an attitude problem with Shaw all season, and it's killing us.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the centre backs weren't great yesterday when they were put under pressure. I've gone for a 3.5 for Fabian Schär. I just did not like his performance again. Andre Fry's gone for a 7. I mean, wow. Okay. I mean, hey, your choice. Peter Garthwaite with a super chat saying, do you think Eddie Howe was covering his own arse by saying he didn't see the second half coming? He certainly subs timing completely wrong. I don't think he's lying about that. I wouldn't assume that Eddie went in and told them to play like that, because that wasn't even game management. That was just shite. Alex, Fabian Schär?
I'll go 3.5. I'll join you. I think he was worse than Pope. I gave Pope a 4. So for people saying he hit the crossbar, don't care. I'd rather he was a defender, because his job is to be a defender. Do your defensive priority. Do the priority of your role first. Then if you can do a bit more, fine. Sprinkle some flavourings elsewhere in your game, but defend first. I think his positioning is poor. I don't know. A couple of people posted a clip online of when they scored their first goal, and I don't know where Fabian Schär is. I think we did a split. I think we were split. Did we start a goal kick or something? I don't know. Whatever happened, Fabian Schär was out wide. Possibly it was up for a reason. But I just think positionally and awareness-wise, he's really lacking. I thought he shouldn't have been playing anyway. I think Emil Kraft deserved the nod against Forest. I think Fabian Schär needs to sit out. I think if Eddie Howe is making big decisions and controversial decisions by benching a goalkeeper that's just got a new contract after a good period, can you not bench Fabian Schär because he deserves to be benched? He's not been good enough. And we're not saying we don't like Fabian Schär and that he might not be able to ride this and be good and useful to us in form. But for now, he needs to be benched because Emil Kraft has been adequate. I don't know. I think he's really lucky to be playing at the moment.
Well, to be honest, guys, Fabian Schär against Liverpool scares the living crap out of me. Anyway, Dan Burn, Sam.
Decent first half. I have to say I am surprised by some of the things I'm seeing online with people saying that he was outstanding. I think he was, given some really poor passing from the back. I think he has had a great season, but we do need to critique where it's necessary. Everybody does have an off day, so I have given him a 6.
6. Alex?
I'm going to go a tiny bit higher than that. I'm going to go for 6.5. I am very frustrated with the mistakes trying to play out from the back. However, upon watching it again, I really do think that people need to help him out because you're not giving him much choice other than to just absolutely hoof it. And yeah, he didn't really have any options. It was the wrong decision several times, but that's why he's not getting any higher than the 6.5. I was frustrated with that. But then the rest of his game, 7 out of 9 aerial duels, trying to keep them quiet with sort of Chris Wood and stuff. 4 out of 4 ground duels. He made a last man tackle as well. 8 clearances. I thought generally his swatting stuff away and being a defender was okay. But then, yeah, the playing out stuff. He's just trying. I felt like he's just trying to be that guy, and he's not that guy. We love Big Dan Burn, but you're not Sven Botman. As horrible as that is to say, it sounds quite
it's fact. He's
nasty.
not, is
but
he?
it's not personal. Botman was bought because of his high ceiling potential and technical ability.
Yeah.
So it's not nasty, but Botman is better at those things, and I would much rather Burn stops trying to dribble it out from the back and doing that. But people need to show for it as well, which is why I've given him a 6.5.
I've gone 5.5, simply because I think second half, the way he gave that ball away was careless. I know what you're saying, Alex, and I agree with you. But at the same time, giving the ball away like that, you do that to the likes of Liverpool, Man City, etc. They kill you with that. We can't be doing that. If there's no pass on, just get rid of the ball. Simple as that. Don't try and give a pass that's not on, or there's a risk of giving the ball away. And Dan Burn for me he's been tremendous this season. But I only have to mark on the game I saw, and it just wasn't good. Why not? Just not good enough. Miley, Sam.
Let's take some things into consideration here. First start after obviously his injury being out, he's had quite a lot of time out as well. He's really bulked up, fantastic. Just he's energetic. Got a goal. I think he looked a bit leggy in the second half, understandably. I think after the injury and everything, and getting the first full start. So I am going to go with a 9.
9 from Sam. Alex.
I'm really torn with this one. I'm going to go for an 8. I think it's a 7.5, but I'm going to bump it to an 8 because of the goal. I really liked a lot of it. I liked the physicality, the aerial duels, and just looking a lot more competent. Really, really gifted player.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think he does have to be lumped in with the lot that really lost the composure in that period of time where Forest got back into the game. I think he gets maybe a little bit of a pass because he's 18, but he was part of it. And we needed people to step up a bit and show for the ball. And he was one of those that could have done that a bit more and didn't. So fine. He gets a bit of a pass on that, but still, I think needs to be noted because we can't just put it all on Bruno. That's not fair. So yeah, I'll go for an 8 because it was generally quite a positive game for him in the output wise, and the shots, the goal. But yes, still some stuff to work on, which will be worked on. He's young.
I've gone just tad above. I've gone 8.5. I just think this guy this kid is special, and he's going to get even better and better and better as time goes on. The way he is when he's on the ball. We talk about Tonali looking like he's floating on water sometimes. So does Miley. Miley he's got this grace about him when he's on the ball that he just doesn't panic when there's loads of players on him or, that he's surrounded. He knows where he's going. He knows what he's going to do, and he's composed with it. He's mature above his age, no doubt about it. And I can't wait to see how he develops as a footballer, because I think he's going to be outstanding for years to come. And hopefully at Newcastle United, by the way. So 8.5 for me. Bruno, Sam.
I'm going for 6 for Bruno. I think without Tonali, he gets to shine when he gets to play, 10, 15 yards further up. He seems to be a lot more creative and a lot more confident when Tonali's there. And again, that might be a confidence thing, but I think attitude, we all know that he draws fouls. He's fantastic at it, but sometimes when you don't have the quality to back it up, you just kind of look like a bit of a toddler. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alex?
I'm going to go with a 5. I'm going to go bang in the middle, but I think that's generous. Obviously, he contributed a lot in the positive stuff, and one of the reasons we got to 4 goals. But yeah, there's a lot of problems with him in the second half, and just completely not having any control or grip of that game. And we've discussed, there's no point in me waffling because we've discussed all of those main points, and a lot of those do connect to Bruno and his performance. And I think that the captaincy stuff as well bothers me a little bit. in regards to the celebrating throw-ins, but not showing when your centre halves really need some help. I think that is really important. I feel like he needs to be sat down and shown clips of this and just said, look, we love your passion, but put it in the right place. You know, I don't know the man. I don't know if he's got an ego. I don't know if he'd take that well. I've got no idea. Maybe he would. Maybe he's the model professional. We don't know him. But I think, yeah, it's as was it Sam that just said it. You know, he can't just have Tonali. He can't. It seems like if he's not got Joe Linton or Tonali next to him, he's got to hold one of their hands to do his thing. Sometimes you've just got to step up and be that guy. Joe Linton's done it for us before, where he's picked up the game by the scruff of the neck on his own. Think of Southampton, first game of the season. Joe Linton did that on his own, essentially. We need Bruno, and it's harsh to ask this, but sometimes he needs to step up. He's 27, he's Brazilian, he's the captain. You know, you've got a child next to you. No offense, Lewis Miley. You need to sometimes be that guy. If you want to be that guy on the big wages and have the armband, you've got to be that guy. And he wasn't at all.
I'm sure Alex said he wasn't going to waffle there. I went on for another 5 minutes. Interesting. Right. Joe Willock, Sam. Now, Level 7 Dave is in the chat. Those of you who don't know Level 7 Dave, it's a long story. But he's given Willock a 3. I'd just like to point that out. I'm absolutely astounded by that. Sam, Joe Willock.
Yeah, he's definitely not getting a 3 from me. I thought he was finding really good pockets of space, good pace. This is what we've been looking to see from him. It's just a bit of a consistency thing after obviously injury problems. Particularly great in the first half. Got the assist as well. So I went for a 7.5 because I think he was better than what we've seen as late. So I've marked him up a little.
Alrighty, Roo. So Alex, Joe Willock.
What did you give him, an 8?
7.5.
7.5.
Oh, you gave him a 7.5, sorry. I will go for... I think I gave Tino a 7.5 and I gave Miley an 8. Yeah, I'm going to go for an 8 as well, give him the same as Miley. Again, a little bit of an issue with... He was part of what went wrong in that second half to a degree, so we cannot shy away from that. However, first time we've seen old school Joe Willock. Afterburners, confidence. He didn't give a toss who the foot race was against. He was up for it every single time. Even the one he lost against Elliot Anderson, which, how fast is Elliot Anderson, by the way? But anyway, the fact that you can keep up with the full pace Joe Willock is ridiculous. But back to his best for me in a large portion of that game, in terms of his counter-attacking or just his sheer transitional output. If he's gone, he's gone. You've all of a sudden got Isak with him, Gordon with him, and teams cannot cope when they're firing. And his passing was crazy as well. Got an assist. Yeah, 8 all day long. Hopefully this is a corner turned. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, Abs is just saying there, more game time. Hopefully plays more than just a half. I've given 7.5. Like the rest of the team, it disappeared kind of second half, just not the same influence. But I loved what I saw in the first half, getting the ball, running at players. That when Joe Willock is in full flow like that, he is almost unstoppable because he's got so much pace about him. And I don't know whether it's in his head about his previous injuries or not. I don't know what that is. But for me, he was starting to look at Joe Willock that we know the capabilities that he's got. So 7.5 for me. Murphy, Sam.
Very poor first half. Sort of Murphy of days gone by, unfortunately, at fault for the first Forest goal. So I've sort of marked him up and sort of brought it back down for his goal and then being a fault for the first as well. So it was a really tough one to call. I have gone for a 5 for Murphy. 5.
Alex.
Yeah, really difficult one to mark because he was so bad and so good at lots of different things. I'm going to do exactly what Sam's done. I think he gets a couple of points up for a lot of the positives in the goal, but then loses a couple of points for some absolute dumb somethingery. 5. Yeah, weird from Jacob Murphy, but at least he's still scoring, even if he is kind of falling the ball over into the net. It's fine. He was in the right place.
I've gone for a 4. I thought first half he was dreadful. And people are saying, well, he scored. Yeah, but he also made a mistake for the first goal. So it kind of balances itself out for that. So he doesn't get more points or less points. I just thought his performance was really just poor. Poor giving the ball away early doors. Yes, he got a little bit better, but nowhere near the Murphy that we've seen for.
He won every single ground duel, 4 out of 4.
Alex is winning ground duels, and then there's winning the ball and then doing something with the ball. But he gave it straight back to the Forest.
Oh,
players.
I know. So when he was in, when he's in a physical battle, he's quite good at it. But then when he's, sometimes he just doesn't concentrate.
Yeah.
He tries to overplay, which has been since the Birmingham game, since the Birmingham City game. I've seen every single time we've watched him. I've seen a bit of him overplaying. I don't know if you've noticed that.
Possibly. Right, Anthony Gordon, Sam.
Causing problems down the left wing as usual. I thought he was lacking clinical finish. He just hasn't been his former self from last season, I'm afraid. But I thought he was finding some good space. He was trying his very best to make something happen and get creative. I have gone for I'll give him an 8.
8. Alex?
I'm going to go for an 8 as well, but completely different spin. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I thought he was the silent workhorse that doesn't get the credit and won't get the credit for that performance. But everything that was positive came down that left-hand side, and that is his baby. That is his left-hand side. And he was contributing to all of it. I thought he deserved a goal, and he was robbed by a couple of people, which we will talk about.
Absolutely.
But regardless of the fact there was no assists or goals directly for Anthony Gordon, fantastic game from him. No qualms about anything he did in that game. I thought he was brilliant.
Okay, I've gone 7.5. I thought his running off the ball was great. It's just the final product. He just needs to get that going, and then he gets higher marks for me. Isak, Sam.
Dodgy pen. I said he got it, but I don't like the risk taking. That it scares the hell out of me, whether you're confident as hell or not. Marking up for the back heel, I just thought that was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. I had drool. It was just fantastic. So I've gone for a 9.
Okay. I've got 9 as well for exactly the same reasons. I thought it was risky. Sam, do you need to go?
Do you know what? I'll hang on from. I'll do one more player. One more.
Okay. Right. No problem at all.
Thank you.
I think me and Alex thought at the same time there because he put a private message in saying Sam, and I was like, Alex, Isak.
I want to give him a 10, but I'm not. I'm going to give him a 9 because he keeps running into our half to try and be an outlet and then losing the ball. If you're going to come that deep into your own half to try and help the team play out, you cannot lose that ball because everybody's out of position and they're just going to run straight through the middle, which they do so many times. We've conceded from him doing that this season. And I love Alexander Isak. Everybody does. But stop coming really short and losing the ball. It's so annoying. And everybody's got to bust a gut to try and last ditch stop that from becoming a problem. And he does it far too often. But other than that, he's ridiculous in a positive way. He scored 2 goals. The man's fantastic. And it was nearly a 10 out of 10 performance if he hadn't have done that for me.
Right. Who was the first subs, Alex?
There were 2, and it was Sandro and Harvey Barnes on for Willock and Murphy.
I'm gonna shoot, lads, but Alex and everybody in the chat, get your steak emojis ready because I want to hear what you think about Wilson's performance.
Well, Sam will be back tomorrow night for the preview, so Sam will see you tomorrow.
See you later, everybody. Bye.
See you later. So Sam will be back tomorrow for the Liverpool preview. Of course, at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Just change the screen over there. Right. Tonali, Alex.
Tonali and Barnes. Tonali. Yeah, I thought it was really solid. I'm going to go with a 7. I know we conceded, but it was from a corner. I don't think he got much really he could have done with that. I thought he helped to try and wrestle a bit of control into the game.
Yeah.
Completed both dribbles. Only 2 out of 6 ground duels, but he was trying to get stuck in and wrestle some control back. I'll go with the 7, but it was very positive from him. And I'll tell you what, considering Eddie Howe said his issue was hamstring related, my word, is that man fast. He was doing 50, 60-yard runs as fast as he humanly could. He's an absolute superhuman, honestly. It's crazy.
I've given him a 7 as well. Exactly the same reasons. And I think the man is a machine, simply a machine. Because if that's a man who's got a hamstring problem, then Jesus Christ. Right, Harvey Barnes, simple for me. It's a 1. Absolutely anonymous. Did absolutely naff all. Just a 1. He did nothing. Alex.
He won 2 out of 2 aerial duels and had a funny shot blocks that he tried. But I'm going to join Paul in a 1 and just say I can't really remember. Apart from those moments, Alex, my memories are only triggered by the
He's
stats.
Right-footed and had a chance to hit that on his right, and then he takes it back onto his left.
Well, he had the opportunity to play in people in better positions than him as well.
Yeah.
But we'll get to somebody else who does that. But Barnes, I'm going to go for a 1 because he had 23 minutes to try and help wrestle control of the game. And I think was a little bit more interested in just trying to score a goal at the other end instead of trying to get control of the game, which is what we needed.
Yeah. Right, next sub on, Alex.
It's Callum Wilson.
Okay, well, I'll score first. I'm going to give Callum Wilson a 1. Just because I thought it was diabolical. What he did in that last couple of minutes, it just absolutely shocking. I can't understand what was going through his head. I'd have been very angry if I was Anthony Gordon, but not just that. He did it a couple of times, and it really pissed me off. So a 1 from me. Get your steak emojis at the ready, folks. Alex, Callum Wilson.
Well, it's a 0. I don't think he deserves any credit for anything.
Okay.
He had 5 touches of the ball, which is fine because he wasn't on for very long. I think he was on for 8 minutes plus the 3. But he had many moments where he received the ball high up. He lost every single physical battle, every single one. Not only that, when he did get a breakaway, all of his pace is gone. Fine. Whatever. Lots of injuries. It is what it is. But then he had the opportunity on probably, I think it was about 3 occasions to play other people in. And there was one situation in which Anthony Gordon was clean on goal. It was the easiest goal Anthony Gordon will score all season. It would have been a tap in. And Callum Wilson is selfish, head down, not looking. He's not playing the clock down. He's not playing teammates in. He's just going for goal. And fine, you're the 9. You've maybe got a right to do that to a degree, but in the game state, no, absolutely not. You pass that to Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon, and if people are angry at me for this, Gordon was furious. You go and watch that replay. Gordon was absolutely seething, and I would have been as well, or I am already. Considering Callum Wilson is one of the old school leadership group, we love Callum Wilson. He's been fantastic, but that was selfish and pathetic. And if they'd have gone up the other end and scored, my word, awful from Callum Wilson. You know, we've all just said the last couple of weeks, oh, it's great to have Wilson back. It's lovely. I'm so glad he's back after all the injuries. We know it's not been working out for him the last couple of years, but he's back. It's nice to see. Hopefully he can contribute a bit for us. And then he's come on and just done that, which I feel like he's throwing a lot back in people's faces, considering all the love he's been getting. That is despicable. To come on and be so selfish is a joke. An absolute joke. This is why I couldn't be a manager. If I was a manager, I'd have subbed him straight off. Straight off. I'd have embarrassed him. I'd have got Osula on and said, go and take a shower right now. Get off my pitch. I would have been livid with him because that could have cost points. And it was pathetic. It was so embarrassing. And I'm giving him such a hard time because he's part of the leadership group. He's one of the OG players in this team. And, if Will Osula does it, fine. He's learning. He's young.
Yeah, but if Callum Wilson was in the position that Gordon was yesterday, he would be going ballistic with Gordon.
It wasn't a case of rustiness. It wasn't a case of pace. He made that decision, and it was multiple times as well. It was a calculated decision. That's why I'm so pissed about it. It wasn't his lack of pace or rustiness. He chose it, and it was the wrong choice. And I feel like he should know. Well, Julie's just said it there. He should know better. I agree, which is why I'm so livid with him, because I've given Callum Wilson so much respect, and I thought that was what we could rely on him with. Apparently not.
Was that it for subs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should have been Osula straight on for Wilson after that, but it didn't happen.
Yeah. Right. Eddie Howe, Alex.
If Wilson scores the winner at Wembley, yeah, well,
He'll
fine,
be forgiven. Yeah.
He'll be forgiven. That is
Yeah.
the only situation in which he's forgiven. Eddie Howe, I'm going to go with a 6.
Okay.
I don't think, I think there was a few things in this game that were, I don't think you can give him the blame for. I'm not quite sure what's going on with our defensive corners. I think Jason Tinder's got to maybe take a bit of a criticism for that. So maybe if we're rating the coaching staff, but if we're rating Eddie, 6. I think the players should really have done a lot more. You shouldn't need a 63-minute sub to steady the control of the midfield. You're good enough out there. They should have been able to do it themselves. I thought that was pathetic.
6 for me as well. I just sometimes think that the in-game stuff still gets to me a little bit. And the way the team folded in the second half, I know, it's not all down to Eddie, but he's part of the whole situation, isn't he?
I think he agreed with us, though. He was trying to stop.
Yeah.
I think he shared our frustrations. He was shouting. He was trying to. He could see the same things, and he was trying to give them the opportunity to carry it out. And I think they let him down a little bit. Again, this is not the first time this has happened recently.
Yeah. Well, look, at the end of the day, it's a win. And we will look ahead. We will look ahead to Liverpool, obviously, at 7:00 tomorrow night for the preview. I'll be back in the morning at 11:30 with the news show, and of course, reaction to Eddie Howe's press conference. Let's hope it's a little better than Friday's, and he actually gets some questions that he's actually forced to answer. Because they need to pressure him in these press conferences. We shall see. Right, man of the match for the viewers. Alex, would you like to take a guess?
I think the two highest performers were Lewis Hall and Alexander Isak. I think maybe Hall deserves it on merit of the game, but Isak might have got it just for the goal output. I'll go with Lewis Hall because I think he had a better overall game.
It was indeed Lewis Hall. 71% of the votes for Lewis Hall. 71%.
Good reaction from him after Man City.
Yeah, absolutely. Isak got 7% of the votes. Willock 3% and 19% went to Lewis Miley. So a big win for Lewis Hall. Yeah. He's taking the piss with that, surely. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Like I say, I'll be back at 11:30 in the morning. And, of course, 7:00 tomorrow night, the preview. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great Monday night, guys. Thank you, mods. Thank you to everybody watching. And, of course, Alex. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Away, the lads and lasses.
Come back and check out some green.